Welcome back. Let's head on over now to our sports studios where Ayotunde Balogun is standing by with the day's sports news.
Yes, indeed, Harriet. And talking football now, it's a new dawn for the national team as Nigeria's Super Eagles edge past the Taifa Stars of Tanzania by a 0-0 at the Nest of Champions Stadium in Uyo, as coach Gernot Rohr begins his reign as the technical advisor of the team with a win in the last group game of the 2017 AFCON Qualifier. After losing many goal-scoring chances in the encounter, Manchester City forward Kelechi Iheanacho gave Nigeria victory with a beautiful strike from the edge of the box in the 78th minute. The Super Eagles were in control of the game from start to finish. However, the Taifa Stars carved out a few scoring opportunities of their own. Having failed to qualify for the 2017 Nations Cup, the team will now be looking forward to its next game, which is the 2018 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Zambia in October. Super Eagles striker Victor Anichebe is looking forward to working with Englishman Jermaine Defoe at Sunderland in the English Premier League. Anichebe sealed a move to the Stadium of Light, reuniting with David Moyes, under whom he played at Everton. The 28-year-old revealed he's a huge fan of Defoe, who recently moved into 10th place overall in the top Premier League goal scorers list. He is now excited to work up close with a striker he's often admired from afar. Well, he may have won the World Cup in 2014 with the Die Mannschaft, that's the German national team, but Bastian Schweinsteiger has been left out of Manchester United's Europa League squad. Schweinsteiger, who has trained alone or with the under-23s with the Red Devils under new boss Jose Mourinho, was however named in their 25-man Premier League squad. The ex-Germany captain signed a 3-year deal in July of 2015, but was told by Mourinho last month that it will be very difficult for him to play again for the club side. The 32-year-old World Cup winner retired from international football this week after 24 goals and 121 caps. World number 1 Serena Williams parred to a record 307th Grand Slam match win to reach the 4th round of the US Open. Serena, who is bidding to claim a record 23rd Grand Slam singles title and her 7th US Open crown, beat Sweden's Johanna Larsson 6-2, 6-1. She will face Kazakhstan's Yaroslava Shvedova, a 6-2, 7-5 winner over China's Zhang Shuai. 5th seed Simona Halep of Romania smashed her racket in frustration before avoiding an upset by defeating Hungary's Timur Babos 6-1, 2-6, 6-4. 4th seed Agnieszka Radwanska of Poland overcame France's Caroline Garcia 6-2, 6-3. Still talking tennis, Novak Djokovic didn't need to put in much work to reach the US Open's 4th round for the 10th consecutive season, thanks to injuries. The world number 1 was given another rapid advance when Russian Mikhail Yuzhny retired due to a leg injury when trailing 4-2 in the first set on Friday. And that's a wrap on sports news. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Harriet will be back with the rest of the news at 10.
In other news, the two countries responsible for almost half of the world's carbon emissions, China and the United States, have now ratified the Paris Global Climate Agreement. The two countries are responsible for about 40% of emissions. CO2 emissions are the driving force behind climate change. In 2015, in Paris, countries agreed to cut emissions. The Paris deal is the world's first comprehensive climate agreement, which will only come into force legally after it is ratified by at least 55 countries.
Paris Agreement today, we're demonstrating our shared commitment to climate change. I look forward to an extensive discussion on our shared interests in advancing regional and global security, from the Korean Peninsula to the fight against ISIL. We very much welcome China's contributions to global development, peacekeeping, and refugee assistance.
US President Barack Obama. Turkish military have moved into the northern Syrian town of Kilis with more tanks in an operation against the Islamic State group. Shots were heard around the Syrian territory and civilians were seen fleeing the area. Reports say 20 tanks and armored personnel carriers were involved in the assault, which took place about 55 kilometers southwest of Trablus, where Turkey launched its first major incursion into Syria last week. Syrian rebels backed by Turkey have said the offensive is aimed at putting pressure on the Islamic group still in control of that area. President Islam Karimov of Uzbekistan has been buried in his home city of Samarkand. The late Karimov died after a stroke this week at the age of 78. Today's burial ceremony comes amid uncertainty over who will succeed him. Citizens are observing 3 days of national mourning for a man seen as one of Asia's most autocratic leaders who ruled for 27 years. And thousands of anti-Brexit protesters have taken to the streets of London 2 days before British Parliament reconvenes after summer recess. The protest, tagged March for Europe, is a call on Parliament to put a pause on Brexit for a stronger unity with the EU during negotiations. But British Prime Minister Theresa May insists Brexit remains Brexit and there is no going back. This is coming after the country's 52 to 48% vote to leave the European Union in June. But Britain is yet to invoke Article 50, the beginning of the process of exiting the bloc.
Do anything to resist this. There are all sorts of channels for resisting it via, say, the House of Lords, constitutional challenges, legal challenges, even the EU itself, possibly a second vote, you never know. Point being is if we just lay down and let this thing happen, then we're just guaranteed to basically let them take us out of the EU on the worst possible terms. If we can send out a clear message saying, no, we want to stay, then fingers crossed, we might just stay.
So democracy has happened, they have voted in a referendum. This is now the second referendum on the European Union. So this isn't the end, this is just the beginning of the next chapter, and we have to make the European Union work. We have to, otherwise the world will not make it. Those are the stakes.
Well, what I hope that the march will show is that there's a growing movement of people that care passionately about our future in Europe, that this is the start of a public discourse between this movement and government, and we hope that it's going to inspire more people to get involved, take action, get organised, contact their MPs, build networks within their own communities.
And the main news again. Former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo today recommended strong ruling and opposition parties to sustain democracy in the country. Chief Obasanjo said this when a factional chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Alimodu Sheriff, visited him in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Also today, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, reaffirmed the military's resolve not to relent in its effort to restore peace to Nigeria's northeast and Niger Delta regions. And that's it on the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for staying with us. I'm Harriet Agbini. Have a great night.